Well, hello and welcome to Spirit in Mind, where we discuss current affairs with faith and mental health perspectives. I'm Bishop Guy Robinson, and I am so honored to have this time to share with you because it is indeed time for Spirit in Mind. In fact, you can let someone know, give them a call, say it's time for Spirit in Mind. You can call in to 443-380-2803 in just a few moments when we get into our content. But Spirit in Mind would not be Spirit in Mind without our co host and colleague, Dr. Jonathan Shepard. Hello, Dr. Shepard.
Hey, good afternoon, Bishop, and good afternoon to the Spirit of Mind family out there.
We are again so glad that you are here with us today. And again, that number is 443-380-2803. If you want to call in live, we're here at Praise 106 Studios right here in Baltimore, Maryland. You can also join us by stream, and we're grateful for our streaming audience as well that is here with us. We look forward to your comments in the chat line. We look forward to your phone calls here in the studio. Because we'll be getting into our content in just a few moments. Dr. Shepard's going to share some other ways that we can stay connected in between Spirit and Mind times.
Yes, and thank you everyone for again your wonderful comments and your continued inspirational messages and continue to keep them coming. You can call to the station, let us know that the shows have been a blessing to you. They've been a help to you. You can email us at spiritinmindhealth@gmail.com, or you can go to our social media platforms. Bishop C. Guy Robinson is just a tremendous person, tremendous speaker, preacher, as he has been carrying such a heavy load and itinerary. You can go and check out where you can see him preach his next sermon and all of the various things that he is doing. And so just check that out, CGR Ministries. You can go on to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you'll see all those wonderful things that are going on. As I mentioned, he is also a professor. You can look him up, and as he teaches at Morgan State, Hampton University. And so those things will definitely benefit you. And get the book, Critical Collaborations. And as he also works on other literary works. So we want you to be mindful that these platforms are available to you because they will surely help you if you're in need of more inspiration, more content, just a way to be able to be supported as you go through these times. And then if you're in need of direct care services, please reach out to me. I was at my, as they say, my side hustle, my other job, direct care services this morning out in the DMV area. And so if you're in need of direct care services, I can definitely help point you in the right direction to make sure that those direct care services that you're in need of for your children, adolescents, and even for adults, please let me know. Reach out to me. You can go to my website, drjonathanshepard.com. drjonathanshepard.com is probably the easiest way to reach out to me, and someone will gladly make sure that I get that message, and we'll make sure that you are in contact with those who can help you. So those are just some of the ways that we look forward to hearing more from you. Continue to stop us as you may see us at various venues and let us know that Spirit in Mind has been a blessing and a help to you.
Absolutely. We appreciate the power of connection and grateful for our connectivity in all the ways Dr. Shepard has mentioned. Good afternoon to all of our streaming um, um, connections and as well. Again, we're going to give that phone number one more time, and then we're going to get into the content 443-380-2803. We're talking about, still talking about transitions because life is filled with transitions, some swift, some gradual, some unexpected. And we're talking about how to deal with them because all of us go through changes. Life has changes. It's filled, as we just said, with transitions. And so coping and having the coping strategies, being able to respond to life's changes, even to be able to some degree to anticipate the inevitability of certain changes. Last time we spoke, we got really on an impromptu discussion about some of the more traumatic transitions of life, dealing with the collapse of the Key Bridge right here in our Baltimore area from which we emanate, from which Spirit and Mind broadcast in the various cities and states. But we were talking about the Key Bridge collapse and the process of rebuilding and restoration. And those updates are still happening. Work is still being done beneath the scenes, beneath the surface, where things are murky, as they said to use their word. But there's a lot of stuff down there in the murkiness that needs to be brought up, and new access pathways are being created for new shipments to come in without getting stuck on the debris of the tragedy. So much of that is so very profoundly psychodynamic. And so we were talking about that, and that kind of took us actually for the rest of our time last week. So we make it back on track today. We may stay there. Dr. Shepard's going to set the tone, and we're going to go from there. Dr. Shepard.
Absolutely, and thank you, Bishop, because that was such a profound show. And if you have not gone back to listen to it, that's why we share with you the social media platforms where you can go and listen to that show, because it was such a insightful conversation as we were even dealing with the power of a silent Saturday, as we were in between Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, that there was work going on behind the scenes. And there is so much work that's going on behind the scenes. You might say, well, Dr. Shepard, Bishop Robinson, how does it have to do with living in a new place? Well, many times when you get to the new place, the work has to be done. You cannot get to a new place most times and just walk right on in and no work has to be done. That's just not realistic most times. And so as you're entering into the new place, know that work has to be done. And even as you were saying that, Bishop, psychologically, it is one of those things that people are really struggling with. They know that the bridge is down. They know that there is a lot of wreckage. And again, our hearts and prayers go out to the family members. As I'm told yesterday that they found another body, one of the person's construction workers who was on the bridge at the time of the collapse, that you know what needs to be done. And that's one thing to know what needs to be done, but yet in your head, in your mind, you're still struggling with why is it taking so long? And that struggle is real. And so I want to let someone know that even when you get to the new place, even when you get to the new house, even when you get into the new season, you might say, well, I'm here now. So everything that I'm waiting for should be right there for me. I just want to let you know that that's most times not going to be the case. Now that we have started removing parts of the bridge, of the Key Bridge collapse, we now see that work is being done behind the scenes, and they're literally, from what I'm understanding, working 24/7 to remove these pieces. And they're even advising those neighbors and those who live on the shore of the Patasco River that if stuff washes up, remnants of the bridge wash up, to notify them, because that's even psychodynamically important, because old stuff will wash up on shore, Bishop.
On other people's shores. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that really points to the whole reason why we do this mental health awareness commitment that we make on Spirit and Mind, because it really represents it. It's not saying that we don't want the bridge up. We certainly do. But there's, you can be very pragmatic and just say, I just want the skyline to look like it used to look. I just want to know, when is the bridge going to be up? And it can seem like others, and you can get frustrated with that. But the whole point is that they're just like people say, I just want to move on with my life. I want to act as if nothing happened.
Right.
I just want to restore the immediate material and visible things to my life without, and our assignment, part of our passion is to really say what our leaders have been saying municipally, that there's stuff beneath the surface. I'm with you too. We want that back up too. We want you to get back, and I understand your pragmatic philosophy. You just want to have the stuff that you used to have.
Right.
But our assignment is to say, if you rebuild that without going beneath the surface, it's going to come back at you.
Wow. and wash up on somebody
and
else's
wash
shore.
up on somebody else's shore, in another relationship, in another job, in another school, in another neighborhood. So you can move geographically
Mm.
and experience a geographical transition. But then you ask, why is this stuff keep happening? This looks like that. That is the debris washing up on the shore in a new city.
Wow.
In a new job, in a new place. And that's why it's so important to have these moments.
Absolutely. And really, Bishop, it stays in line with where we have been at. As one of our last points that we have been talking about is growing where you are planted.
Yes.
And so we're not looking for the bridge to go to a different location.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
the location has already been set. It's now that we're looking to clean the debris away. And the bridge may look different. Let's just be honest. The bridge is not going to look the same way, but they didn't change the location of the bridge. You know, and now will it be exactly, to the T, the measurements and things like that? I mean, it may be a little bit off, but the location has already been designated. And that's a very important point, is that you can grow where you are located. And Bishop, I love this, how you have made it so profound in regards to how people up and leave places and up and leave organizations, whether it be religious organizations, churches, their jobs, even family, even spouses. And one of the things that I continue to look at is the whole mindset of being able to stay still enough to grow.
Right.
We're entering into the growing season right now. If you look into the calendar, April, that's why they say April showers bring May flowers. We're looking into growth season right now. And so you can't have a healthy garden. You cannot have a healthy flower bed if you keep uprooting the same plants that you and bulbs that you put down 2-3 years, and then, well, what's wrong with this now? No, something's wrong with you. You can't expect to get the full bloom, if you would, the full harvest that you're expecting if you keep uprooting it. So, one of the things I encourage people today is listen to what we're saying. Listen to this point of, as we're in the new place, that you can grow where you are planted. You can grow where you are located. Stop uprooting. Stop changing jobs, changing churches, changing spouses, families, because they said something that you didn't like, or that you were unwilling to be submissive or obedient to what was being asked of you to do. It is possible to grow and change without relocating. And of course, I've given the examples for those who remember a couple of weeks ago about the invertebrates in my aquarium. And I'm happy to say that they are still alive. They are still well. They have just changed their exoskeleton. That's what you call that when they shed their skin and they outgrow. And they're supposed to do that. That is as a normal organism. Now, yes, we as human beings, we are extraordinary, but in the world of science, human beings are organisms, all right? And we just keep it like that. Sometimes I get a little scientific on you, absolutely. And so human beings, we are organisms. Organisms are supposed to grow. Organisms are not supposed to stay stagnant. A stagnant organism means that it is an unhealthy organism. I want to be a healthy organism. Now, I'm also a healthy human being too, but I want to be healthy, Bishop. And so we expect for us to grow. We expect for, if you are a mother who has a child growing inside of you, a living organism, you expect for that child to grow. You don't expect for that child to stay at the same weight and same gestational period as you go through those various seasons. Because if they do, then you know something is wrong with that child. Something's wrong with that living organism that's inside of you that you're going to hopefully end up giving birth to. So I'm going to start right there, Bishop. But I really think that this is so appropriate, even with what's happened in Baltimore, knowing that that bridge is going to stay in that same place, and that we're going to continue to grow where we are located.
Absolutely. And that can't be reiterated enough, because so many of the responses that we have today are built around fight or flight reactions. Things don't go our way in an immediate circumstance, and which is fight or flight is like avoidance or aggression.
Mhm.
And there is a way to address things right where they are and to locate them and to without relocating to
Mhm.
develop them. A crisis happens, and as you said, can't always be the first thing. Changing jobs, changing this, changing houses, changing spouses. At some point you have to do the work
Right.
of rebuilding what was lost right there on site. So this whole key bridge piece again is serious, it's traumatic. We're praying for families that experienced the loss. We're praying for the people who were impacted economically because it's a whole way of life built
That's
around
right.
that.
That's
So
right.
so many things, so many businesses that drive the economy and livelihoods and the way people take care of their families. So there's a lot to consider, which is why rebuilding is important.
Mhm.
But you also want to rebuild right. You don't
That's
just, you don't just want to hurry up and rush to do that, and then you repeat the same things. And so we're talking about that, but it symbolizes such a powerful psycho spiritual principle. I
Mhm.
mean, it's psychological profundity in it, there's spiritual profundity in it. And that's the assignment, is to get revelation out of this current affair that can help us and apply to our lives, notwithstanding the persons for whom we're praying and who are in our thoughts and prayers who are directly affected by this. But there are teachable moments in this so that we can apply our hearts to wisdom. And I see some of us already have it. Looking at the chat line, we're right where I am. Amen. I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
so that's what we're here. For some people, it is relocation. And we've talked about that. If you've heard our previous broadcast, we've talked about sometimes God says what he says to Abraham: rise up, go to a land that I will show you. But that's God speaking and not our emotions.
Right.
So you got to know the difference between those voices. And so there's just so much profundity in this. Last thing I'll say is that one of the reports said that now temporary access ways have been
Mhm.
built, so that temporary shipping lanes. The spirituality of that is, God will maybe you're in a temporary lane that God is
Wow.
getting. He will find a way to get resources to you.
Thank you, Lord.
But the ultimate objective is to rebuild the mainstream.
Right. Absolutely.
And so many things in there, so that we can appreciate for how God works, and so many spiritual principles. And that's our assignment, to lift that up so that you can have your mind and spirit in as healthy a place as possible. Dr. Shepard?
Absolutely. And so, and also it's amazing, Bishop, to see the work that they are doing amongst the federal, state, and the city government to make sure that the change takes place. And I love the camaraderie. I love the way in which the president of the United States, the governor of Maryland, the city of Baltimore, the mayor is working together because this, as when you're locating or relocating, or even when you are changing, I think that's an important point to mention, that it takes a village, it takes a work. Many of us may feel like we are isolated, feel like we just need to keep everybody out of our business, so to speak. And yes, there's some people you should keep out of your business, but not everybody. This takes work. When you are in the process of cleaning up the channels, cleaning up the debris, cleaning up the various things that may wash ashore into other people's backyards, it takes a collaborative effort to make sure. So that's why we each and every single show, we are making sure that you know how to be able to reach out to someone who can help you. Our job here on this station is to provide the assistance and the guidance, because we want to let you know that you're not in this thing alone. And most times you can't do this thing alone. Let's just be real about that. You need a pastor, you need a spiritual leader, you need, of course, you need the Lord first, but you need a spiritual pastor or a guide, and then you many times need a mental health professional to help you walk through even once you get to the new place, to make sure that you have some consultants, and make sure you have some people who understand, or think about a house, who understand interior design. Everything don't go together. You need somebody to help to make sure that you bring in the right pieces. So when you come into the new home, that you're not picking out leopard skin rug for I don't know. I'm trying to think of what bear skin couch. I don't know. I'm just exaggerating here, Bishop. But it's just certain pieces just don't go together, and so you want to make sure that you have people who can help you put together the right components, so that when the channels are clear, when the bridge is back up, when the new place is ready to flourish, that you have those collective persons there who can make sure that you have those right components in place. I realize that we're coming up toward the last 3-4 minutes of the show, but Bishop, I do want to drop this on you. You also said something a few weeks ago that I think is a point that we will continue on, is that learning the season where you've been planted. I think that is very important. Knowing how that can definitely play a part of knowing how to rebuild, is learning that season where you are planted, and that's very important, because everybody doesn't understand the season where they're at.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a time to build and there's a time to not build, as it says in Ecclesiastes. So, I tell you, Bishop, I'm going to leave it right there. I don't want to go too far, but I just want people to know this is where we're going. This is where we're going to hang our hats at, because there's just so much to really pull up out of this. Yes, Bishop.
No, that's still, it even applies to, listen, this bridge thing, you're not trying to, overwhelm it, but it's still happening. But even that, there were certain days that they said the work beneath the surface couldn't be done because the environment wasn't right.
Yep.
It was too rainy, the winds were too high, the seas were too rough. So there's a timing and season and atmosphere. It's so important and so critical.
Wow.
In all of these things, and what you said about having a team, and you need a couple of people that you can open up to for different people. There's a crane there that's doing the heavy lifting. You need some people in your life that you can drop the heavy stuff on. There's some even persons who just, if you're bringing cups of coffee and meals to refresh the workers, you got different people who I will make sure are in your life to make sure that all those different needs that we have are met, and that's so very important. The Surgeon General Murphy, Vivek Murphy, Dr. Vivek Murphy, said that we are in the middle of a loneliness epidemic. Wow. All of this isolation, when really we need community, we need teamwork, even as it applies to us spiritually. I know you know God for yourself, but there are some graces that are manifest in faith community. Yes. And when we get together and draw from each other's strength and draw from interaction, because we are really, if you will, thirsty for community. And so that's so very important. And I'm glad to see even how the spirit and mind is interacting. I got to say this, if it's all right, Dr. Shelby, we got a testimony even here. This platform, I thank God for this testimony that God keeping has kept me while I was waiting a year without a job, and God has opened the door. Wow. I now have a job. Wow. That's what we're talking. Awesome. God had a shipping lane, an alternate shipping lane for a year. And now he's opened up the main tributary again. Oh my!
Open it up, Lord.
My Lord. Listen. This is called natural revelation. Paul said in Romans that the seen things in this world give us insight on the spiritual truths of this world. God is always speaking through different atmospheres and events, and that's why we discuss current affairs with faith and mental health perspectives, because what's happening in this world has psycho-spiritual relevance. Dr. Shepard.
So we want you to be encouraged. Please continue to reach out to us. Please continue to let us know how these episodes are blessing you. You can go back and replay. I encourage you. We're actually on part 13 of this series. Imagine that. We're on the 13th episode of this particular series. So if you've missed any of the previous 12 episodes, go back. You can go onto YouTube. You can go to my YouTube channel or to Bishop C. Guy Robinson, CGR Ministries YouTube channel. Subscribe, and that way you'll know when we are on. The notifications will be there. But go back and watch, and just watch how we've been able to build upon each particular precept, each tenet, and you'll see how we've gotten to the place where we are today. And let me tell you, as you do that, I believe that some more channels will open up for you as you go through this.
Absolutely. We're on our way out because we're out of time. But listen, there's a closing thought. Perhaps your transition has been traumatic, but we can draw from this Key Bridge traumatic experience that it may not be totally rebuilt yet, but the rebuilding and the renovation has already begun. God is working behind the scenes and beneath the surface, and it's just a matter of time before your rebuilding and renovation manifests. And by the grace of God, we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Spirit in Mind.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at Spirit in Mind, and we're also on Instagram at Spirit in Mind Live. Join us next time for a new episode of Spirit in Mind.
This program is brought to you by Spirit in Mind, LA.